Let's get more on this with Jennifer Nadel, a political commentator and co-founder of UK think tank Compassion in Politics. She joins us from London. Thank you for your time today. So we're seeing huge crowds in London today for these protests led by Tommy Robinson and Unite the Kingdom. Do you think this turnout reflects a wider shift in public opinion across the UK, or is this still a fringe movement?
This is not representative of the whole of the UK, and we know that roughly 73% of Britons, when polled, are concerned about the rise of the far right. Nevertheless, it is a worrying trend and part of a very worrying rise in the far right in the UK and across Europe, of course. And in the wake of the Charlie Kirk murder, we are only expecting that to get worse. There's no doubt whatsoever that this is inflamed by those in America who have been pushing populism, and indeed Steve Bannon was billed as a speaker at this march. Steve Bannon is, of course, the former strategist for President Trump, who has himself been jailed, as has the leader of this march, Tommy Robinson. So it's an unedifying sight. People are staying away from central London. People are frightened, particularly people from the Muslim community. The British police have said it's perfectly safe for members of the Muslim community to be in central London, but many of them are staying away for very good reasons.
How valid are the concerns being raised by the demonstrators today? How much of it is rooted in real policy issues versus political messaging?
That's such a good question. What we have here is a cost of living crisis, and we also have a far right politician, Nigel Farage, who leads UK's Reform Party, who has sought to create grievance and blame migrants for the economic hardship that many in Britain are facing. So we have genuine economic hardship. We have a populace that is disappointed by the new government that promised change, which has yet to materialise. And we have a far-right leader who is inflaming those grievances and those tensions and trying to pin them on Britain's migrant community and those who are seeking to enter Britain across the Channel in small boats. But of course, there's no causal connection between migration and Britain's current economic woes and its housing shortage. Nevertheless, that message is gaining huge popularity. People want someone to blame for what they're going through. And Nigel Farage has offered them a narrative that's becoming increasingly popular.
You mentioned the government there. Do you think the government is doing enough or is worried enough about this broader rise in far-right sentiment in the UK?
The government is worried about it, but I'm not sure that it's really taking steps to address it. It seems to be caught in the headlights. The economic situation in the UK is being used to really lock down on spending, and austerity-like measures have not gone down well with those who are hoping for a more generous and compassionate approach to those who are struggling at the moment in the UK. And so the government, unless it changes direction, it looks as if it's heading for defeat. At the moment, Reform UK is leading all the main political parties in the polls, and that is because they have managed to create this grievance, and the government hasn't failed to really galvanise and create a positive vision and given people a sense that there is hope and that things will get better. Indeed, the government has spent a lot of time telling people how bad the economic situation is, how difficult it is, and that has really not helped their fortunes.
Jennifer, you touched on this already. We have seen similar movements gaining momentum across Europe and in the US. Has that global shift emboldened the groups that we are seeing here today to become more outspoken?
It's undoubtedly the case that what has happened in America and what is happening across Europe has emboldened today's protesters. There is, it feels, a growing movement increasingly to the far right that is anti-migration, that is anti-authority, that is seeking to drive grievance to really create a big shift to the right. And And it's also the case that funds are flowing from America into this kind of protest, and strategy is flowing from America into this kind of protest. We know that Steve Bannon himself has said it's his intention to create a global movement for populist uprisings. And each movement is emboldened by other movements that seem to gain success. So unfortunately, this is a dangerous moment, not just in the UK, not just in the US, but across Europe.
Jennifer, really good to get your thoughts today. Jennifer Nadel, political commentator and co-founder of UK think tank Compassion in Politics.